Recording. So thank you so much for coming to this workshop of the Learning Center. Casey, who's the director, is great, and she's going to be giving the presentation. Feel free to ask questions. I know these have been very lively in the past. And so Casey, take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Like Paul said, my name is Casey Hoekstra. I am the Associate Director for the Learning Center. And today we're going to be talking about Learning Center services, but also a little bit of learning theory, because I think it's interesting and hopefully it helps you all understand what it is that we do at the Learning Center. So an agenda for today, Bloom's Taxonomy, one of our learning theories. We're going to go over some different study strategies. What is the point of tutoring? And then I'm going to show you our services and how to access them as currently enrolled University of Utah students. We will have plenty of time at the end for questions and discussions. So if you have anything, go ahead and mute yourself, shout it out, put it in the chat, or you can wait until the end and we can talk about it together. So this beautiful pyramid you should be seeing on the screen right now is the idea of Bloom's taxonomy, which talks about the different levels of understanding information. So it starts down at the bottom. Basic understanding of information we refer to as knowledge. So you can memorize something word for word. Doesn't mean you necessarily understand what the information is telling you, but you can say it exactly how you learned it. Next up is comprehension. So you're able to understand the information. You can restate it in your own words. You can summarize it and give that information to someone else without using the exact words of how you learned it. Application, using information that you've learned in order to solve new problems. So if you learn about a bunch of different equations, you can see a problem and choose which equation would be the best to use in order to solve it. Analysis is identifying the components of information, determining their arrangement, their semantics and stuff. So how are these pieces related to each other? How, is it cause and effect? Are these two totally separate things? What pieces make up this information and stuff like that? Evaluation is making decisions and supporting your views. So saying, I agree with this information because XYZ, or I disagree. This is true, this is not true. This supports my view, this does not support my view. And then at the top, the very, very last one, we have create. So understanding information so well that you can take all of the information and create something new. Whether that is, like actually creating something new, doing research, finding a better product, or finding an easier solution to a problem, or creating something, like an invention or something, right? So the reason why we talk about this, I promise it is related. When we're in college, there's certain levels that we have to perform at, right? We have to be able to perform at a certain level in order to do well in our courses. So I'm going to ask for a quick participation. If you all can think way back to high school, for some of us that may be further back than others, but at what level of Bloom's did you have to operate to make A's or B's in high school? And if you are here via Zoom, you can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If you are here in the Union Den, if you want to shout it out to Paul, that would be great.
Which one?
I would say comprehension and sometimes application.
So comprehension, application. Anyone else? Application in the chat. Application again.
Awesome. Yeah, so I should have prefaced this too. This study looked at different tests and assignments for different high schools and tried to see, they did an analysis of which types of questions were being asked of the students. So very close to what you all were mentioning. In most high schools, we're asked to perform knowledge, comprehension, and some application, and then it definitely dwindles after that. Not much analysis, evaluation, very little create. I do want to add the caveat that it really depends on what kind of high school that you go to. If you are in a dual enrollment or AP classes or stuff like that, you will be asked to perform at higher levels. If you went to a publicly underfunded school like I did, you might be at some lower levels of Bloom's. So definitely around that area. So now thinking to college, similar question. At what level of blooms do you think you'll need to operate in order to make A's or B's in your classes here at the U?
What do you think? College, yes.
Lots of applications and lots of analysis.
Application analysis.
And I don't know much yet. I'm just studying my basic classes.
Evaluation in the chat. What else? Evaluation. Application analysis.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. And again, everyone's on the right track, right? We are looking at anywhere from application, mostly analysis, evaluation, and then maybe some create as well. When we think about this, there are going to be classes in college and higher level classes in college that are going to require us to have some of that knowledge and comprehension. We might just have to memorize some terms. We might have to maybe restate them in our own words, and that's totally fine. But when we think about the bulk of what our courses are asking of us, we're operating at these higher levels of blooms. So I think this is important to start with when we think about the Learning Center services and we think about academic success in college, is recognizing that each stage of education that we go higher and higher, we're being asked to perform at these higher levels. So maybe what we did in the past to study and to take in information might not work as well as it used to when we're in these higher level courses. So that's going to take some time management skills. We might need to spend more time studying, or it's going to take some different study strategies so we can be more efficient, and a lot of reflection on what we're doing. So this leads me into the curve of forgetting. So this graph that you see on here is thinking through when we learn information, when we're exposed to information for the first time. You see here this black line, right? If we're here in class for about an hour, if we don't review that information within 24 hours, we're likely to forget anywhere from 50 to 80% of that information. And then if we continue through and look at 30 days later, so if we were to imagine a unit being 4 weeks, right? We don't review that information at all, we have likely forgotten like 90 to 95% of the information. So what this is suggesting, and what we really push within the Learning Center, is that studying is a continual process that starts from the moment we learn information. This study gave us some results that seem pretty promising. If we review information for like 10 minutes every single day over the entirety of the unit, we forget less and less, and we need to review it for shorter periods of time each time that we go back to look at it. So thinking through, if we have a class that meets like Tuesday, Thursday, and it's Thursday, we don't review that information again until the following Tuesday when we go to class. That's a huge bulk of the information that we're probably forgetting. And when we're in class on Tuesday and we're reviewing things that happened on Thursday or adding on to information that we learned on Thursday, it can be harder for us to process and understand that information because we haven't reviewed it and it's not as fresh or as solidified in our minds as we had hoped. So I would recommend, I recognize like every single day is kind of a big ask, right? To say, I'm going to look at my information on the weekends, or I'm going to do it on days that I don't have class or whatever. So I would recommend at least trying to do it like every other day, maybe 2-3 times a week if you can, just to start, and then slowly kind of build up to that as much as you can. Some tips that we have as far as what that looks like. The first one is looking ahead so you don't get swamped with homework during the week that you have a test. When we practice good time management skills and we're able to prioritize what's going on, we can get stuff done early and we can make sure that we aren't in super busy, stressful situations. The next thing would be planning out when and how you're going to study. I think a trap that a lot of students fall into is we say, I'm going to study today from 2 to 4 p.m. Great. What are you going to do, right? When I was in college, I remember times I would go to the library and I'd just sit there and play on my phone and be like, well, I mean, like, I know I didn't study, but like I was in the library, so I feel like kind of okay about doing that, you know, wasting that past 2 hours. Or I'd take out my textbook, I'd look at some pages and be like, yeah, I don't really feel like doing this. And then I wouldn't do it. So setting goals for that study session can help us stay motivated, can give us direction. It can help us feel accomplishment at the end. So I am going to study today from 2 to 4. I'm going to do it in the library. I'm going to reserve a room. I'm going to review terms for my anatomy class, and I'm going to finish my homework for my math class, right? I have these 2 things that I want to get done. I have a place that I'm going to do it, and I know that this is the time that I'm going to do it. The next thing is cramming, again, with planning ahead, making sure that you don't get swamped. Cramming doesn't actually help us understand information. It just makes us familiar with it, right? I'm going to put it in my head real quick, but I don't really know what's going on. And then I'm going to put it on my test and then forget about it, right? And that's not always the most helpful thing for us. So making sure that we are reviewing it, as the curve of forgetting suggests, reviewing it as much as we can, right? Every other day, every day, whatever that looks like for you. And then the last thing, as far as time management goes, is our brains are wonderful, wonderful organs, but they're also pretty forgetful and easily distracted. So it's recommended that when you study, instead of sitting down and studying for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours straight, telling yourself, I'm going to study for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. I'm going to allow myself, when I notice that I'm starting to drift off and that I'm not focused on my coursework anymore, I'm going to allow myself to take that break so I can come back and be more fully devoted to what I need to be doing during that time. So I would suggest starting, just listen to your brain. If you are doing a topic that you're like not interested in and you can only work for 10 minutes, by all means, only work for 10 minutes. At least you did that 10 minutes worth of work, right? If you sit down and you realize you're really in the flow, it's a class that you feel really passionate about, you love the material, you can go for 45 minutes, you can go for an hour. That's also cool. I would suggest not going any longer than an hour because you really need a break at that point. But just really listen to yourself. If you can do it, do it. If you need a break, give yourself a break. The trick is when we give ourselves this break, it's important to do something that actually removes us from the situation that we're in. So for example, right now I'm sitting at my laptop in this particular chair in this conference room, right? If I were to take a 5-minute break, I would get up and move to a different room. I might go walk to the restroom or walk to the water fountain or something, do a lap around the library, but some way that I can actually be removed from the situation. So I can convince myself that I'm actually taking a break. If I were to continue sitting here and just look at my phone, it might not actually feel like I'm taking that break. So just being really intentional about what that looks like for you. And the next thing is just a few study tips, recognizing that we need to try different methods for different classes. We might not be able to do flashcards for every single class. We might not be able to reread or rewrite our notes for certain classes. There might be videos that help us study for one class, but we can't find that kind of resource for another class. So being okay with trying different stuff out and just finding what it is that works best for each class, for each of the assignments or tests that you have. I want to acknowledge it is kind of scary sometimes to try out something different. I think we're used to doing something in a certain way. And when we try something different, it's not efficient. It takes a long time. It doesn't feel easy to us right away. But the more that we do these different things, the easier it is for us to do them in the long run. So definitely do something that feels like it can be more efficient. Give it its time, allow it to work for you. Or if you're realizing that it's not working, definitely move on. Making sure that you are studying in a way that prepares you for the test. So for example, if we think back to Bloom's taxonomy, if we are studying in a way that only challenges us to that knowledge and comprehension, we're doing flashcards and we're saying the definitions in our own words, but the test is asking us to apply this information to a new scenario, that can be really difficult for us to do that for the first time on the test. So whether it's that you've had a test before and you kind of know the feel of it, or if you've asked your professor what kind of questions they'll be asking you, really pushing yourself to study. It's asking me to apply information to a new scenario. I'm going to make up some scenarios. I'm going to find practice problems in my textbook. I'm going to ask the professor for an old test so I can check it out. Different things like that. And then the last thing is creating accountability in yourself or finding it from others. So in order to have strong academic success skills, we need to make sure that we're actually following through on stuff that we say we're going to do. And when we manage or when we plan our time, making sure that we actually go ahead and manage it well, and follow the plans that we have or adapt in ways that are positive for that. So study apps, online study tools, anything like that can be really helpful. I know that there's a Pomodoro timer that you can download. It can tell you when you need to take breaks, if that's helpful for you. Even just like setting an alarm on your phone. I said I was going to study at 3 today, so I'm going to set an alarm for 2:50 to make sure I get all my stuff together and I'm ready to go by 3 o'clock. And then set an alarm for 4. I said I was going to study from 3 to 4. I'm going to set an alarm for 4 so that I know I can be done studying. I can move on to the next thing if I feel like I've accomplished what I need to. If you're not good at holding yourself accountable, I know I'm not, you can always ask someone else to hold you accountable. Whether that's sharing your goals with a friend, a roommate, a family member or something, or having someone, you know, in your class, having a peer that you can study with so that you know that you both go at the same time. Just making sure that whoever it is, they are someone who is going to hold you accountable and push you to accomplish those goals. The last study strategy that I have that I personally really love is a summary sheet. So this is a really great way to interact with the information more regularly rather than some other strategies that you might have used before. So after your class, either the day of or the next day, take a look over the notes that you wrote in class and write yourself a summary sheet. It should not be word for word. You should be writing it in your own shortened ways so that we can challenge ourselves to critically think about the information. But making sure that you take everything and just write, here are the most important pieces that I need to know. Here is what might be on the test or something like that. You can also make connections between ideas, put definitions of vocabulary, examples that helps you understand it really well. Writing a question that might be on the test so that you can go back and use that later when you're trying to study. And then also content you're confused about or questions that you need to ask your professor or your peers or you need to reference in your textbook or anything like that. So by doing this, either the day of or the day after that you learn this information, you have opportunity to clarify the information and get the right answers before you go on to learn more above that information, more that builds off of it. So I definitely recommend study sheets in some way, shape, or form. I think it's a great way to interact with the information often and a great way to think critically about the information too. So just a little bit transitioning over into the tutoring aspect, since that's the number one thing that our office does. I think it's important to point out that tutoring does have a negative stigma around it. A lot of people think that you only go to tutoring if you're struggling, if you're not smart enough to do it on your own. And that's not true at all. We see students at any point in their academic journey. So it's not just for struggling students, it's for anyone. It's okay to ask for help if you need it. And it's also okay to come in and use our services if you just need someone to look over something, or if you just want to talk through the content with someone, or you feel really confident about it and you're just excited to share that information with someone. Absolutely take advantage of our services. Tutoring does offer that personalized assistance that's adapted to your learning. So if you notice in class that the information is being conveyed in a way that's really difficult for you to follow along, or if the professor is moving really quickly and you just want someone to chat through that info with, tutoring is a perfect place for that. Tutoring can help build confidence and persistence so that you can tackle those difficult courses that you might be taking while you're here. A lot of the times with tutoring, it's you have that information, you know what's going on. It's just nice to have someone to make you feel more confident about it. So another really great thing about tutoring. And then the last one, tutoring doesn't just help you do well in that one specific course, but it can also help you build and develop other academic success skills. So critical thinking, communication, creativity, problem solving, adaptability, resiliency, and so many other amazing things. So again, tutoring is really wonderful. Everyone should check it out. And what I'm going to do real quick is just kind of walk you through our website and talk about where everything is and what services we have. And then we'll have the rest of the time to answer questions.
Oh, Casey, we can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Wow.
That is so. No, I can't hear you. Let's see. I can see you. And you just went off like mid-sentence.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
Cool beans. All right, we're going to try this one more time. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. That was super weird. So I'm going to show you our website. I'm going to talk through our services and how you all can access them. So our website is learningcenter.utah.edu. All of our services are available to any currently enrolled University of Utah student. So everything is available to you all for free here on our website. So please make sure that you take advantage of it. It is included in your student fees. So technically you are paying for it. So make sure that you use them. The first and most important thing is our individual tutoring. So we do offer tutoring for, I think it's like 150 or 200 courses at the U. You can find information on which courses we have if you go just on our main page. If you scroll down, it says list of courses here. And you can kind of look through, or you can do Control F and try to find whatever it is you're looking for. A lot of what we help with is lower level general education courses. We do help with some higher level, just depending on what our tutors are able to do. Our tutors have taken the courses that they help with and gotten an A or a B in each of them, so they are familiar with the content and they do feel confident to help other people with it. So just be aware that's kind of the courses that we help with and how we choose who helps with what. To schedule an appointment, you can just click the button that says schedule an appointment. It's also this very first one that you see up here. You do have to agree to our policies, which you can read on your own time. It's essentially saying you're going to show up. If you don't want the appointment anymore, you will cancel it ahead of time. But you sign in with your university login. Let me give it 1 second to do that. And then it will have, the first thing is selecting the meeting date. So if you want something for this week, you can just leave it as is. If you want a specific date, you can click on that. And then it'll show you over here all the courses that there is availability for. So if you're looking for a class and you don't find it on this list, but it's on the other list that we have, it just means there's no availability this week. And then you can look for next week. So let's say we wanted Calculus 1, right? So we click our Calculus 1 appointment. We can choose video, telephone, or in person. If you do choose in person, it's up to you and your tutor to decide where you want to meet together. And they'll reach out to you asking what you prefer. And then because I selected Friday, January 28th, it's showing me the availability that we have for that specific date. So then I could go in here and say, I want an appointment at 5 p.m., fill this out real quick, and then hit schedule appointment at the end, and you'll get a confirmation email with all that information in it. So easy peasy, everything is right on there for you all. If you do run into any problems or have any questions, you can always call our office, and we're happy to help you get your appointment scheduled. Another service that we offer is called supplemental instruction. So we have specific tutors tied to specific courses, and they hold study sessions for those classes. So if you are enrolled in any of the classes that have SI, you should hopefully know about it already, but if not, you can always check it out here. Again, it's mostly lower level courses, but we have like organic chemistry 2, psychology, intermediate algebra, calculus 3, calculus 2, human anatomy, all that kind of good stuff. So that is there. The next service that we offer is learning consultations. So it's tutoring minus the content, of course. So it's time management, study strategies, test taking strategies, test anxiety, critical thinking, kind of what we talked about today, but more personalized one-on-one stuff. It's the same process to schedule one. It just is a shorter list instead of all the courses, and you can schedule with whoever you'd like to meet with. And again, in person, online, or telephone, whatever works best for you. I would highly recommend scheduling a learning consultation, even if you feel pretty confident in your ability to be successful at the U. I think it's still really great to just talk to someone about like, hey, this is what I do. Do you have any recommendations on how I can be more efficient, or what I can do to be a better student, or you know, just to chat about that kind of stuff. So definitely would recommend that. The next thing that I want to point out on our website is that we recognize we're not the only tutoring service on campus, and we may not be the best option for whatever needs that you might have. So we do have this, it's called Campus Tutoring. It's as many resources on campus as we could find, and also some off campus. So let's say you're in a biology class and you want a biology specific tutor. You can come on here and it'll bring you to the biology tutoring website. You're an athlete at the U, you can visit this one here. You want to see what chemistry has to offer, right? So all these kind of things are in here. The white boxes mean that they are services offered by University of Utah students. The gray boxes mean that they are offered by community services, but still available to you as a student. And then you can go through here and look and say, all right, I'm not a U student, let's just say, right? What is available to me? Or I really want only free tutoring options. You can choose free, and I'll show you what's free. You could do, this was in the past before COVID, ones that offered online. So that, I mean, pretty much everything is online now. But you can kind of go through and choose what it is that you need and what you're looking for. Another thing that I want to show you all on our website is that we do have some resources available. So if you're thinking, I don't really want to go to a learning consultation, I think I'm like good to do this kind of thing on my own, you can check out over here. You can say, all right, I'm really looking for some critical thinking, right? There's an article that you can read about critical thinking. I really want to look at time management. There's some activities. There's a video that you can watch about procrastination, right? There's all these different things. And this could be a good way for you to at least get started, and then maybe be like, yeah, this is something I want to learn more about. I'm going to schedule a learning consultation and talk with someone about that. So that's kind of a quick overview of our services and the website and what we have going on for all of you. Just so you all are aware, our office is physically located in the Marriott Library. However, tutoring can happen in any public location that a tutor and the student agrees upon. So you could meet with someone in the union, you could meet in one of the academic halls or Gardner Commons or whatever it is that works best for you and your tutor. So lots of options, lots of flexibility within that. I know we're done early. I'm a really fast talker, so I would love any questions that you all have, any things that you want to share, any challenges that you might be facing that you would like us to troubleshoot. Now's the time.
Questions, yes.
I think there's no tutoring for political science.
So question about tutoring for
Right.
political science.
I don't think we have anyone right now who helps with political science stuff, but what we do is if enough people ask for tutoring for a specific course, then we reach out to the professors and get a recommendation. So if you want to send us an email with the course that you're looking for, we're more than happy to add that to the list.
Oh, no, I was just asking.
And then,
Okay.
so like for students in kind of a similar position, like you would recommend like a learning kind of consultation, what other things can students take advantage of if it doesn't seem like super apparent right away?
Yeah, absolutely. So either visiting the campus tutoring tab that we have and checking out what other stuff on campus is available, or scheduling a learning consultation. We can talk through different strategies on how to tackle difficult courses and how to get through all that content. Absolutely. Awesome. And then I saw someone put in the chat where in the library we're located. We're in room 1738. It's on the main floor behind Mom's Cafe, or not main floor, sorry. It's on the bottom floor behind Mom's Cafe. Anyone is welcome to come at any point in time. We have a ton of snacks. We have a Keurig that has hot chocolate, coffee, tea, all that kind of stuff. And we're pretty cool. So you can definitely come and hang out, ask questions about the services, get assistance, whatever it is that you need.
Other questions?
What other questions?
I have a question because I think this might come up a lot. So a lot of students who are here are transfer students. They've done well at their prior institution. They're planning to do amazing. So it's a lot of really high achieving students. And I know that sometimes like you touched on, like people will be like, that's not for me. I got an A in my last, semester. So what would you say to kind of students who might feel like I may not really need tutoring?
Yeah, absolutely. I think tutoring, like I mentioned, is for anyone at any stage, right? If it's something that you just need a quick clarification on, or you just want to talk to someone about a topic you're passionate about, that's really cool. If you don't think tutoring is for you and you want to be a tutor, I did fail to mention this, so thanks for asking that. We help currently enrolled University of Utah students, but we also employ currently enrolled University of Utah students. So if anyone is feeling super confident in one of your classes and you want to help out your peers, we do have a jobs tab, so you can click on this. We hire students to be tutors, supplemental instruction leaders, and we also have a front desk assistant if anyone is interested in hanging out with us all day. But our starting pay is $11 an hour. We do weekly trainings, and each semester you get a raise based on how many levels of training that you've done. It's a really cool opportunity to get to understand the content better because you're working with it all the time. Lots of professional development, communication skills, all that good stuff. It's super easy to apply. We just need to know who you are and what courses you want to help with, and then you need one recommendation. It doesn't have to be a professor. It can be anyone who can attest to you being good or having the potential to be a good tutor. So don't let that scare you away. But super duper easy. Definitely check it out if you are interested in helping out others. It's a really great way to do that. It's a great way to get involved on campus. There are a lot of studies that show us that students who have on-campus jobs are retained and graduate at higher rates than those who don't. So it will also hopefully help you be a better student and graduate as well. So definitely check it out.
Thank you. Any questions? Just a little bit of a quiet group. I was going to give a shout out. A long time ago, when it was called the Tutoring Center, was a student employee. So I have actually worked in this office quite a long time ago before Casey was there. And also, one thing I just want to make sure that's clear for transfer students, we all want to see you succeed. And so we're here to give support. I know that this one was going to be a little bit sometimes tougher sell for like high achieving students to go to, but I do want to mention there's a thing called transfer shock, which is students who do well, they often, when they transfer, it's often your most difficult semester. You're at a new institution, you don't necessarily know the professors, you don't know the rules, things could be set up differently. You may not know who to ask for help. And so really these workshops and inviting people like Casey are really here to help give you that support. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. And that's really kind of what I want to stress the most, that I think that's really great that Casey's here with us today, just because it can be a thing that sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't know if I need it, but I do want to say like, it is really useful.
Yes. Ditto, I agree. I love it. And if anyone does have any questions and you just don't feel comfortable asking them now, you can always send us an email, learningcenter@utah.edu. You can send me an email. I don't know where my name is on either side, but it's just casey.hoekstra@utah.edu. You can stop in, you can give us a phone call, whatever it is. I'm happy to chat and nerd out about all this kind of stuff. I'm happy to help connect you to resources if we may not be the best friend for you. So don't hesitate. We're happy to help.
Thank you. This is your last chance to ask a question. People are here and they're engaged. They gave all kind of tech support suggestions when you were.
Yes, they did.
Paying attention. So, yeah. So we'll pause.